What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sistas. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sistas fans. Yesterday when I was recording, I thought I was done, but it was brought to my attention that Jeremy, do a video about Jasmine. Will she be the one to save Andi? And Crystal Lee Naomi actually put it on her Instagram. It was a poll, and I'm actually going to pull it up here. But while I'm doing that, make sure you follow her on Instagram. She has two accounts, Crystal Lee Naomi, Jasmine Borders. But also she has her own brand called She Hustler Inc. I'll leave links to both of those Instagram accounts in the top comment in the comment section below. But she was like, what if season 2 happens and opens with Jasmine saving Andi from that long solo walk in the Georgia wilderness? And then the poll was saying, could Andi and Jasmine ever become friends? 65% say yes, 35% say no. I said no only because, well, I don't know if friends would be the word I would use to describe the two. It really depends on how the writing goes, and it really should be something that doesn't need to be rushed. I'm not saying it needs to be long and drawn out, but it needs to be development. I think at the end of the day, Leslie, who called it way back during like the first portion of the season, that Jasmine and Andi need to work together in order to bring down Gary. But of course Jasmine didn't want that, and Andi wanted nothing to do with Leslie, and ironically enough she gets fired, but then she's right about everything, and unknowingly those two might actually join forces for the greater good, which is taking down Gary. Now, do I think Jasmine will be the one to actually save her from the walk? Look, I don't think it will make a lot of sense because of her condition after falling on, from the parking garage. I'm more inclined to think Leslie would be the person who shows up to save Andi because of the fact that she knew the feds were after them. She probably had to track her on whatever vehicle they drove up to that house, and she probably was following behind, far enough to not be spotted, but at the same time would be there when Andi needed her. So I think Leslie will be the one to pick her up. Jasmine should still be in the hospital. Or you could argue that what if Jasmine got discharged, but then Morris is the one that comes along with Jasmine? Possibility. But I think that these two would work together since Jasmine was proven to be right and Leslie was proven to be right. And Andi has to lose everything in order to say, you know what, I've got no other choice. Let's join forces. So I don't think these two will become fast friends. They'll butt heads a lot, but at the same time, they will learn to work together for the collective good of both of their livelihoods, and as a result they might form somewhat of a mutual respect with each other, because maybe Jasmine will see a lot of herself in Andi in terms of who she was before she got together with Gary, a strong, independent, career focused woman, and then she met Gary thinking he was the man of her dreams, and then turned out to be her worst nightmare, and as a result she lost who she was while trying to be the woman that he wanted her to be. So I think a cool mutual respect might be formed from the two. We'll learn more about Jasmine's character, and even if we don't get that Jasmine spinoff series, we can use season 2 in terms of Andi's storyline to have her learn more about Jasmine's past and how her and Gary met, and as a result she'll learn more about Jasmine. So will we, and maybe a friendship might form, because believe it or not, it might seem like Andi could get closer to both Leslie and Jasmine than even her own friends, her own sister circle, because that was one thing about season 1. Let's just not even talk about the whole, oh, Andi's making dumb decisions and all. That was one of the recurring, not concerns, but the recurring statements from viewers that these 4 friends really don't seem like the greatest of friends, where it definitely seemed like, and I forgot to mention this when I did my season overview video, but if you go back to like the first several episodes, it really seemed clear that they were almost half and half in terms of like Andi and Karen were definitely close, Sabrina and Danny were close, but then on the flip side, it's like Sabrina's friendship with Maurice seemed stronger than any of her friendships with her girlfriends. Whereas, Andi and Karen just kept secrets between each other. And then Danny felt like the odd person out, leading to her behavior, I want to say, like during the back half of the first half of the season. So really, you could say that Andi might get closer to, Jasmine and maybe Leslie than even her girlfriend. So that's what I think could possibly happen as we move into season 2. And again, I don't know if friendship is the right word I would use, but I do think like they'll put aside their differences just to take Gary down. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it'll become friends, but Morris is always going to be part of the equation. But honestly, I don't really see how you would be on good terms with somebody who tried to assault you. Yes, he was high, but at the same time, Andi did put him in his place by the research he had about the 7 other women and stuff like that. So, I don't think her and Morris will ever become friends, but at the same time, maybe work together. But then again, this was all a setup, so that really begs a lot of questions. It's like, who was Andi set up by exactly? I mean, because Morris and Jasmine were working together to bring down Gary, and then Gary, I guess you could say, manipulated the lawyer Andi in order to get what he needed, and as a result, Gary got busted. Andi lost everything. And it seems like Jasmine almost lost her life. So it's hard to tell if, excuse me, it's hard to tell who actually won in that scenario. So nobody, because the game still continues. That's why we got season 2. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that Jasmine and Andi could become friends? And I did a video way back when about, check out my Sistas playlist. Check out, the video about will Jasmine and Andi work together to bring Gary down? I don't know. But there are just so many things we don't know about, like Gary apparently being married before. It's like, think of it this way. Jasmine is allegedly the second wife. So what if Gary approached Jasmine in the same way that he approached Andi? I'm not saying Jasmine was a lawyer, but what if, Gary being married to the first wife, Jasmine was the Andi in that situation, and then Gary's first wife was the Jasmine in that situation where Jasmine was being, bullied and whatnot by the first wife like she did with Andi. And then next thing you know, Jasmine, well, how did he get the divorce from the first wife? Did he get a prenup in that situation? I don't know, because he didn't have a prenup with Jasmine. So what if he didn't get a prenup with the first wife? There are just so many things we don't know, but that's why we got season 2 coming. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Jasmine and Andi will join forces? Do you think they'll become friends? Do you think they'll be successful in bringing down Gary? And even if they bring him down, where will this leave Andi? Will she get her job back? Well, what's going to happen? It's like, keep your enemies friends close, but your enemies closer. I feel like that's definitely the slogan or the tagline for Andi in season 1, where she kind of, pushed all of her friends away in favor of being with Gary, which was exactly what Jasmine had been warning her about. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration, and I can go on and on, but that just goes to show this show is actually good, and I can't wait to see what Tyler brings to the table in season 2. All that's to say, give this video a thumbs up, hit the bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. Also, subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. I know I just said that, but please, we should be at 120,000 subscribers hopefully by the end of this month. Links to social media in the description. Shout out to the patrons on Patreon. If you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on Cash App or PayPal.